I thought it would be cool each week if I kind of took you kind of behind the scenes a little bit and gave you a little bit more insight into what I am thinking about regarding the TopShot market. What am I looking to buy? Who am I looking to target? And what are my current thoughts as we are 9 days away from a new NBA season and S3 on TopShot. And what I'm going to do now is tell you kind of 3 things that I'm targeting currently on the platform that I have mentioned a little bit on the stream, and some players that I think may be being overlooked right now that I have been eyeing since last year in the summer, and also been watching preseason, and guys that I am looking to buy before a Series 3 starts, and also even on into the next season. So let's get it rocking here. The 3 things right now on the platform that I look for. Series 3 is going to have massive mints. We've spoken about this numerous times, right? It's going to have mints maybe up to 100,000. And that is going to make 35,000 mint, 35,000, 40,000 mints seem pretty low. So I want low serials right now. I don't care if they're a low serial in a 35K, a 40K. I've been scooping these up all over the place. I mean, if you look at my collection, it's a shame I'm going to have to leave that screen. That are all the players that I was targeting right now. Taylor Horton-Tucker, 75 out of 12K, a playoff moment. Siakam, not even a fan of Siakam, but a 95 out of 35K. Terry Rozier, a 24 out of 40K. Malik Monk, a 190 out of 12K. Jordan Poole, 667 out of 12K. Terrence Mann, 145 out of 12K. These, again, I want lower serials on, I don't care if they're 35K, 40Ks, if they're 12Ks, whatever they are. I want to target some of these lower serials right now, because once we get mints up with 100,000, that's going to seem really low. And also, people right now, there's not a lot of liquidity on the lower serials. So the fair market value is just wrong, in my opinion. It's wrong. Once we get new users on the platform, once we get massive mints, people will realize, oh wow, I should have been looking, the serials do matter, and I should have been trying to prioritize buying lower serials all along. Well, you know what? You can do that now. I've been doing it, so hop on board with me. I also am looking at breakout players. Now we're going to go through a lot of the players that I'm looking to target in a few minutes, and the third thing I'm looking to target are rares. Now, you've heard me talk about on the show, hopefully, that I went to invested in TopShot debuts, which I still love. But the problem with TopShot debuts is Pranksy and all of the OGs, they own 30, 40, 50 of those, right? A few people control the market on those moments. The rares, even if they're S2 MGLEs with mints of 499, the mints are obviously less lower, but usually there's only a few people who own maybe 3, 4, or max 5 of those moments. I have not found really a Series 2 MGLE yet where only a few people control the market. And I've been burned before, as you guys hopefully know if you've been watching the show, by a lot of the OGs, the early adopters, dumping the TopShot debuts because they bought them for $1, $2, $3. They can sell at any price they want. And that's just the reality that we live in. So while I still do like the TopShot debuts, I want to diversify my portfolio, and I now have been trying to invest in more S2 rares. If I can, the MGLEs. Now I know not everyone can afford the MGLEs, that's fine. Look, Hardcore's coming. Moment Ranks Fantasy Game is coming. You are going to need rares of all the best players. Although I know we don't like the All-Star Game set, right? Ooh, I like the All-Star Game set. You know why? It's the best players in the world, and it's the cheapest rares. The only way that we can afford a rare LeBron is the All-Star Game set. The Throwdown set, yeah, most people don't like it, right? You want a rare Paul George? Well, you can get him in the All-Star Game set too, but you can go to the Throwdown set. Karl Anthony Towns, De'Aaron Fox, a lot of players that are great are in those sets. Don't be afraid. When people are zigging, you zag. Or the other way around. When you zag, you zig? Whatever it is. You know what I mean, right? Do not be afraid to go after some rares. You can get great rares right now, under $100 for star players. And again, those will be coveted. They will. When? I don't know, but I can't guarantee. But they will in the future. Remember, no basketball fans on the site. Well, not a lot of basketball fans on the site yet. We don't have the hardcore and a lot of other ways to maximize utility with rares yet. But Roham has said numerous times, rares are where it's at. A common is a common, a rare is a rare. They want the rares to be special. So again, I am very bullish on any rare. So again, low cereals, rares, and breakout players. Well, breakout players, you say, well, who's a breakout player, Judge? I'm going to give you some of my favorites right now. How about Toronto? I love OG. I don't love Precious, but I'm thinking Precious is pretty special, right? He's Precious. I would like to think Siakam could get moved. I think OG could make an all-star team this year. He's developing an offensive game. He's already a defensive beast. If he can continue to develop the offensive game, which we are seeing flashes of at the end of last year and in the preseason this year, and again, I think he's had it all along, quite honestly, in some ways. He has not had a chance to show it, right? But now they got rid of Kyle Lowry. Siakam has not been playing yet in the preseason. Also, Nick Nurse hates Siakam. I could see Toronto also maybe trying to rebuild a little bit. So I think OG is someone I'm very high on. And also, if they do end up moving Siakam, Precious would be a guy that's going to get some nice minutes, and he's looked really good lately. I was a fan of him on Miami when he got minutes, and again, he's a hustle player. He reminds me in some ways of Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew on the Pistons, but actually I think he's more skilled. I think he's more skilled than Beef Stew, and ultimately could have a higher ceiling. So we didn't see the ton of minutes last year because he was playing behind Bam. But I am liking what I see from Precious right now. I would love, again, Siakam to get, if Siakam does get moved, I'll buy these guys anyway. But if Siakam does get moved, those guys could both go to the move. So those are two players on Toronto I really am high on. I've mentioned Darius Garland on the show a lot. Some of that is contingent on if Sexton gets traded or not. But Garland, either way, is going to be someone I have my eyes on. I don't remember which podcast I listened to. Well, Steph Curry raved about Garland for about a half hour. The guy's offensively, he's talented. I like how he gets after it on the defensive end. His playmaking skills have gotten better. He's gotten better in the pick and roll game. And if we can move Sexton, he'll get the ball in his hands more. One of the biggest problems last year is just Sexton's a ball hog. His teammates hate him, his coaches hate him, opposing players hate him, and that's why they want to trade him. Garland, to me, could be a special player in this league. I genuinely believe that. I could see him averaging 22 points and like 8 assists. So Garland is a guy that I think could have a big year. Jaren Jackson Jr., to me, he's the entire key to the Memphis season, right? He needs to play more of the 5. He's got to stay healthy, and he's got to stay out of foul trouble. Can that happen? I don't know. If it does, his ceiling is through the roof. He has massive talent. We're talking about potentially an 8 to 10 all-star player here, and someone who I am bullish on, but also I am aware of the risks. On the TopShot market right now, you can still get some of these guys pretty cheap. And these are the kind of players that I want to invest on, where we can use our basketball acumen to make some moves and buy players who some of the user base may not be too knowledgeable about. And Jaren Jackson Jr., when healthy, he's been a stud before. Defensively, he can block shots. He's got to get closer to the paint. If he can continue to knock down some threes, space the floor for John Morant, stay out of foul trouble, don't get injured, stay healthy, and he could have a big year. So I'm bullish on Jaren Jackson Jr. I have knocked Jordan Poole. He's cost me a lot of money in fantasy. I've not been a Jordan Poole fan. But look, he's been good for a while now. He was great the last few months of last season, and he's taken that right into this season, the preseason. He's probably been the best player I've seen in the preseason so far. He's putting up 30 points a night. Clay's not coming back till December or January. He's going to be a big piece for the Warriors. He only has one moment on TopShot. I know the moment's already pumped a little bit, but keep your eye on Jordan Poole. If Golden State is really good, could he be 6th man of the year? If Clay gets back in the starting lineup and Jordan Poole gets moved to the bench, maybe. Would it shock me? A little bit, but he's been pretty good. And again, only one moment on the site, so I am a fan of his game and what he's been doing. And he's shooting the lights out, and he has so much confidence. Like, he is not afraid to take any big shot at any moment, and I like that in a player. For the Lakers, Malik Monk and Nunn are two players I have my eyes on. They're going to need some youngsters, right? And I'm not sure which one's going to have a bigger role. Is it going to be Nunn? Because Nunn's a little bit more of a playmaker. I'm more of a Monk fan over Nunn. But Nunn may actually end up being the better fit because the Lakers do need another playmaker. Monk is more of just a shooter. He's a scorer. But they're going to need both those guys. And as Lakers, they're old. Some guys are going to get hurt. They're going to sit out games. Both those guys are going to be important. And both those guys are two players I will be watching on the TopShot market, and I wouldn't hesitate in picking up right now. Deandre Ayden is someone that we all know, but I think he's the key to Phoenix this year. If he can take a leap, I think Phoenix could get back to the finals on the offensive end. He's got to get better offensively. Can that happen? I think so. I think it can. If he doesn't, Phoenix needs to make another move before they can be in title contention. But remember, TopShot doesn't like big men. So I like Ayden. I'm bullish. I think he's actually a lot in the postseason. He was really great against the Bucks. He slowed down in the last couple games, right when the Bucks seemed to figure him out. But he was really good the first few games in that finals, and he had a great playoff run. I think him and Trae Young were two of the kind of the breakout players in the playoffs. So I am high. I'm very curious to watch Ayden this year. I've talked about Hunter a lot for Atlanta. I'm not going to go too much in depth here. What was the injury? Did he tear his meniscus last year? I don't even remember. But he was out. He was off to such a great start last year, and it was a shame that he ended up missing most of it with injury. He's healthy. He's back. Let's see what he can do. To me, he is the key to the Hawks' success. We're talking about another guy who could be a perennial all-star. So I'm super high on Hunter. On Philly, we'll see what happens with Simmons. But regardless of what happens with Simmons, Maxey is the guy I'm looking to have a big year. Shake Milton may start, may not. I don't care. Maxey is the one that I want there. He's explosive. He can shoot. He can play make. He does everything you want in a young player. Another guy who's not afraid to attack the basket. The jump shot worries me a little bit at times, a little erratic, and the decision making can be a little worrisome. But ultimately, he's a guy with great potential, a great skill, great athleticism, fearless attacking to the hoop. I like the way that he plays, brings massive energy at all times, and I think he's going to have a big role on Philly this year. On the Spurs, DeJounte Murray and Keldon Johnson. Look, we know the Spurs are going to find some way to win games. Those are the two guys I'm looking for. I favor DeJounte Murray, but would it shock me if one of those guys is a borderline all-star this year? If the Spurs can win games, maybe one of them actually becomes an all-star. Now, it's going to be hard in the West, but those are the two guys I'm looking for. I'm a huge DeJounte Murray fan. DeMar DeRozan's finally gone. Those will be two guys that I'm going to have my eyes on. KPJ, I was really worried about KPJ when they drafted Jalen Green. I was like, oh no. Also, is John Wall going to play? John Wall's gone. He's not playing this year. Watching KPJ and Jalen together, they mesh pretty well in the court. And also, KPJ's better. He just is. He has an extra year in the league, a couple extra years in the league already. KPJ is going to have a massive year. Financial advice by KPJ. Spencer Dinwiddie. He's going to put up 20 and 10. He's going to put up 20 and 10 for the Wizards. The Wizards stink. They're going to lose a lot of games, but they don't play defense. They never did. They never do. They never will. And Spencer Dinwiddie is a guy who, could he win Most Improved Player? I don't think Washington will win enough games, but Dinwiddie is a guy no one likes on the TopShot market because no one knows who he is. I'm a big Dinwiddie fan. I think he's going to have a big year for Washington. At least his stats will be pretty impressive. Terrence Mann, the key to the Clippers season. Kawhi's out for the year. He's not coming back. I'm sorry to tell you. He's not. Terrence Mann is a guy who came on last year in the playoffs. I love everything about him. Again, he reminds me of Maxey in a lot of ways. Very aggressive. He's fearless. Can attack the hoop. His shot selection worries me a little bit, right? Also his three-point. He's got to improve his three-point shot. But Mann is a guy who really showed me in the postseason that he does have the ability to be a better playmaker than I thought, right? So he's going to get the ball in his hands a little bit more this year. I would expect the usage to go way up. The minutes obviously are going to be up. And they need scoring. And so they are going to have to rely on Terrence Mann this year. It's only Paul George and Reggie Jackson. And Terrence Mann is going to have a big role for that team. And I think it's going to be very exciting to watch him blossom. Lastly, I want to talk about three players who are second-year players now. Jaden McDaniels, Patrick Williams, and Okoro. Now, I think Patrick Williams may struggle a little bit because the Bulls, they got DeMar DeRozan, right? I mean, by the way, the Bulls have looked phenomenal in the preseason. We're talking Lonzo, Levine, DeMar, and Vooch, and I don't even know who that last person is, whoever the hell they've been playing, doesn't matter. Patrick Williams has not been playing yet. But I think that his growth may be stunted a little bit picking up DeMar. DeMar is going to take a lot of usage. They already got Levine and Vooch, and you put Lonzo in there, and Caruso, and Kobe White. I'm not sure what the usage is going to be, if it's going to be great. He's already a really good defender, but I still have faith. So even if he gets off to a rough start, if people will panic. on TopShot. If his moments start going down, I will scoop them up. Long term, I'm still going to be bullish on him, regardless if he gets off to a slow start, which I think he might. And I think the Bulls, they're going to be looking to win games. So his numbers are not going to be great, in my opinion. Jaden McDaniels, similar kind of things. I don't think he's going to have a breakout year offensively yet, but he's still someone I'm super bullish on because defensively he's already such a stud. But keep your eye on Jaden McDaniels. If he does start showing offensive flashes, he's a guy I've already been scooping up. He's a guy you can look to grab and feel confident about doing it. He's always going to have a place in the league. Defenders like Jaden McDaniels, they're always going to be in the league 12, 15 years because defensively he can already guard almost every position, and he's already one of the top 10 defenders in the league. And lastly, Okoro, another guy. So all three of these guys are kind of offensively challenged. So I'm going to be watching them to see which one can show some flashes. But I'm also not going to panic if any of them struggle and get off to slower starts. So all three of these guys are guys who I'm going to be looking to buy if their moments come down. And if they do show flashes offensively, and if Cleveland can trade Sexton and Okoro can actually get some usage, I think his numbers could go up, right? We'll see with Minnesota what they do if they trade Russell, if they can try to get Simmons. I don't know what the usage is going to be for any of these three guys. So, but I'm not going to be too concerned. These are three guys I'm bullish on. So if their moments come down a little bit, I'm not going to panic, right? It's a long year, it's a long season, and I'm here for all of it. You're here for all of it. So let's get going. So again, that's a little breakdown of my current thought process, what I'm doing on the TopShot market. Hope you enjoyed it.